This lecture is in continuation to my yesterday's lecture on Six Sigma. Yesterday we discussed the aspects of quality management, and then we also discussed 5S, Kaizen, etc., which is part of quality management in any organization. Today we will spend more time on the quality management, and today we are having topics in front of us which is ISO. What exactly is meant by ISO? We shall devote some time on this particular activity. The full form of ISO is International Organization for Standardization. Here one thing is to be noted, ISO it is not International Standardization Organization, but it is International Organization for Standardization. O comes before S. So, this is the meaning of ISO, International Standardization Organization. So, we will go further. We will see what exactly is meant by ISO 9000 and ISO 14000. These two standards are available. One is for quality management, ISO 9001 colon 2008. Similarly, ISO 14001. 14001 is for environment management system, ISO 9001 is for quality management system in any organization. Any organization which wants to have consistent quality management, that company goes for ISO standardization, ISO certification, and in some countries we call it ISO registration also. What is meant by ISO 9001 and ISO 14001? We will discuss it in brief. ISO 9001 and ISO 14001 are among ISO's most well-known standards ever available. They are implemented by more than 3 million organizations in 175 countries. ISO 9001 helps organizations to implement quality management system, and ISO 14001 helps organizations to implement environmental management system. There is a difference between ISO 9001 and ISO 14001. One talks about quality management, the other talks about environment management system. In quality, we get consistent quality of the product or services, and by implementing this particular ISO standard in the organization, we maintain the quality level, we maintain consistent quality of the product or the services. And ISO 14001 is for environment management system. This talks about pollution control, whatever discharges are there from the organization, we take care of those discharges, and discharges can be in the form of gases, in the form of solids, in the form of liquids, and we also take care of the noise pollution also in the organization. ISO 14000 covers all the aspects related with the environment and the pollution control, whereas ISO 9001 takes care of product quality or the service quality in the organization. What is quality management? ISO 9001 is for quality management. Quality refers to all those features of a product or service which are required by customer. Which are the requirements of the customer, which are the wants of the customer, we take care of the needs of the customer under quality management system. Quality management means what the organization does to ensure that its products or services satisfy the customer's quality requirements and comply with any regulations applicable to those products or services. And this particular thing is taken care by quality management. Quality management also means what the organization does to enhance customer satisfaction and achieve continual improvement of its performance. Here we have talked about two particular things. One is a customer satisfaction, other is continual improvement of its performance as far as the product is concerned or services are concerned. We strive to satisfy the customer at all times. Suppose a customer wants a cup of tea, it is his stated need. We satisfy his stated needs. Then if the vendor of the coffee provides the napkin also along with the cup of coffee, then we are fulfilling the implied needs. When somebody is taking tea, he requires a napkin also, and the supplier of the cup of coffee also gives a napkin along with the cup of coffee. Now, the third supplier of the coffee or vendor of the coffee gives a cookie along with the cup of coffee and a napkin, and this finally delights the customer. Customer will like to have a cup of coffee from a place which is providing napkin as well as the cookie along with the cup of coffee, and this is regarding the customer satisfaction. People go, manufacturers go, or the service providers go beyond their limits so that the customer is fully satisfied with their product or with their services. And then we have talked about continual improvement also. If we are maintaining certain level today, tomorrow we should modify the system, we should improve on the system what we are having today, and this is called continual improvement. And there is a difference between continuous improvement and continual improvement. In continual improvement, we make some modification, we make some improvement in the product or service, and we maintain it for certain time, and then we go for further improvement. And in continuous, we keep on continually improving the product or services. This is the difference between two particular aspects. One is continuous improvement, other is continual improvement. Now, we will talk about environmental management and environmental management system, and this is taken care of by ISO 14001 standard of the ISO, and it is for environmental management. This means what the organization does to minimize harmful effects on the environment caused by its activities. Suppose a manufacturer is there, as we have discussed earlier, he is discharging three types of waste. One is liquid waste, other is solid waste and gaseous waste. We must take care of all these wastages, all these products which go out of the organization, so that they do not have any harm to the environment and to the people outside the organization. Similarly, to conform to applicable regulatory requirements and to achieve continual improvement of its environmental performance, we have to work for the society. Okay, we should improve the societal items which are available in the environment when we are organizing our operations in the society. We have to do something for the society also. People have hospitals, they organize plays, they organize tournaments for the society, and they have hospitals also for the public convenience. And this is part of the organization's society commitment. And these are both the ISO 9001 and ISO 14001. These are called generic standards. ISO 9001 and ISO 14001 are generic standards. What is the meaning of generic? Generic means that the same standards can be applied to all the organizations all over the world. To any organization, large or small, whatever its product or services are there, and these are applicable to all such organizations which are providing products or which are providing services to the customer in any sector of activity, and whether it is a business enterprise, a public administration or a government department, and this is applicable to all such organizations, whether it is semi-government, private or any such type of organization. These standards are applicable, and these are called generic standards. Generic also signifies that no matter what the organization's scope of activity, if it wants to establish quality management system, this organization will go for ISO 9001 certification or ISO 9001 registration. The essential features of this particular certification will be implemented in the organization, or if it wants to establish an environmental management system, the company or the organization will go for ISO 14001 standardization with its essential features implemented in the organization. And both these are generic standards. I will repeat, this generic means this standard is applicable to all sort of organization, all sort of service providers, and this quality management system and environmental management system is introduced and implemented in such organizations. Management system means, what do we mean by management system? We have talked about quality management system, we have also talked about environmental management system, but what does this management system means? This means that what the organization does to manage its processes or activities in order that its products or services meet the organization's objectives, such as satisfying the customer's quality requirements, complying to regulations, or meeting environmental objectives of the organizations. When some company starts business, the company has vision, mission, and based on the vision and mission, the company has targets, objectives, etc. If quality management is the target of the organization, it will be having objectives regarding the quality management system. Similarly, for environmental management system, the company will have targets, objectives, and then those targets and objectives will be time framed. And in that particular time, all these objectives and the targets will have to be completed. When we talk about completion of these targets and objectives, these are possible only through some system, and this system is called management system. And then we go further on this particular statement, which is called management systems. To be really efficient and effective, the organization can manage its way of doing things by systemizing it. We can work in a haphazard way, and the other way is we should work in a systematic way. And in this particular slide, we are discussing management system, where we feel that if systems are introduced in the organization, things become more effective, more efficient, and the jobs and the targets and the objectives are fulfilled in time. Nothing important is left out also. There is no question of forgetting certain jobs, because these are system driven and nothing can stop us to complete the projects. Everyone is clear about who is responsible for doing what, when, how, why, and where. In the organization, each one is given certain responsibility to complete. When overall objectives are framed, these objectives are divided among different employees in the organization, and each and every one knows what exactly is the responsibility of the individual, what he is supposed to do, how he is supposed to do, when he is going to deliver the goals or the results. Everything is known to the individual, and they work also in the form of teams and groups, and teams also are assigned different jobs, and this is possible only if we have systems implemented in the organization. Management system standards provide the organization with an international state of the art model to follow, and there is a model which should be followed so that everything is effective and time bound results are obtained. We will continue with this management system. Large organizations or ones with complicated processes could not function well without management system. It is well understandable that if the organization is very large, suppose an organization has so many units which are located all over the world, these type of organizations, they cannot work haphazardly. They should have certain systems implemented in the organization, so that there is proper communication among the different units of the organization, and their resources are transferred from one place to other, and their results are communicated without wasting any time, and this is possible through systems only. Companies in such fields as aerospace, automobiles, defense, or healthcare devices have been operating management systems for years. for the last so many years, the companies and the organizations are operating their operations through management systems. These large companies like those who are in the business of aerospace, automobile, and even in nowadays communication, every moment, every minute, we get different mobile with different features. Unless it is communicated fast to the customers, their sale will not progress. So, communication system is also very important. This is part of the management system. Now, we have the ISO 9001 and ISO 14001 management system standards. Now, make this successful practice available for all organizations. These systems give us particular way of working, so that we take care of the product quality, we take care of the quality of the environment, and these two standards helps us in implementing quality management system and environmental management system. Now, we will talk about the use of ISO 9001 and ISO 14001. Here, processes are given importance and not the products. Why processes are given more importance than the products? Because we feel through implementing ISO 9001 and ISO 14001 that if processes are running successfully, we will have the products of best quality. And these products with quality are possible only through good processes, where the quality standards are maintained on the processes, where specifications are achieved and maintained. And if we have maintained processes, we will have good quality products and we will be able to provide good services to the customers. These are not product standards. All these ISO 9001 and ISO 14001, these are not product standards. This is to be noted by everyone. These are not service standards also. Even they are not product standards, they are not service standards. These are process standards. So, one thing is to be noted that these two standards are only process standards. We maintain the processes, and with the result we get good quality products and with good quality services. These can be used by product manufacturers and service providers. These two standards can be used both by manufacturers as well as service providers. And one thing again we will note that these standards are regarding processes and these standards are not regarding products or services. And the products and services are result of the good processes, which are maintained through implementation of these two standards, ISO 14001 and ISO 9001. And we now note that processes affect final products or services, and it is a understood fact that processes finally affect the product quality or the service quality. ISO 9001 gives the requirements for what the organization must do to manage processes affecting quality of its products or services. As we have already discussed, 9001 series gives regarding the manufactured products, and ISO 14001 gives the requirements for what the organization must do to manage processes affecting the impact of its activities on the environment. ISO 14001 takes care of the activities of the organization, so that the environment is maintained and it is not spoiled. Rather, we should be doing activities which are going to improve the environment rather than spoiling the environment. Now, we will talk about certification and registration. Both these terms are one and the same. Some people or some countries say that certification is required and others say that registration is required. If we have implemented ISO 9001 or ISO 14001, we can definitely say that we have received the certification or we have completed the registration formalities for ISO standards. It means that an independent external body has audited an organization's management system and verified that it conforms to the requirements specified in the standards ISO 9001 and ISO 14001. If somebody is given certificate of ISO, it means that it has fulfilled all the requirements which are mentioned in the ISO standards in the organization. ISO does not carry out certification and does not issue or approve certificates. Again, one thing is to be noted that ISO never ever gives certificate to any organization. It maintains standard requirements only, which are given to the organization. There are companies who audit the operations of the organization and approve the organization for certification or for registration for both these standards ISO 9001 and ISO 14001. But ISO never gives certification or never registered any organization for certification. The ISO 9000 family. ISO 9001 is the standard that gives the requirements for a quality management system. More precisely now, ISO 9001 2008 is the latest improved version. It is the only standard in the ISO 9000 family that can be used for certification. There are 16 other standards in the family that can help an organization on specific aspects such as performance improvement, auditing standards, training standards, and which are given in these 16 other standards other than ISO 9000. And similarly, ISO 14000 family. ISO 14001 is the standard that gives the requirements for an environmental management system. ISO 14001 2004 is the latest standard which is being used, and it is an improved version. It is the only standard in the ISO 14000 family that can be used for certification. The ISO 14000 family includes 21 other standards that can help an organization specific aspects such as auditing, environmental labeling, life cycle analysis, and these are given by other those 21 standards. But ISO 14001 is the only standard which is used for certification of any organization. Now, we will count the benefits of ISO 9001 certification and ISO 14001 certification. International expert consensus on state of the art practices for quality and environmental management. These are provided by the organization who has already implemented ISO 9001 and ISO 14001 standards. And the companies who are implementing or who have implemented these ISO standards, they have a common language for dealing with customers and suppliers worldwide in B2B. B2B means business to business, increase efficiency and effectiveness. Here with this certification, imports and exports become very easy because the quality levels are maintained through ISO standards. We can export, we can import from one country to the other, we can export from one country to the other if we are maintaining these quality standards. And there is no question being asked regarding the quality of the product if these standards are maintained. Model for continual improvement is there through ISO standards only. Again, we are discussing the benefits of these two standards. Model for satisfying customers and other stakeholders. We take care of all the stakeholders of the organization, and we build quality into products and services from design onwards, from the initial stage to the final stage where the final product is manufactured. The initial stage is the design stage, and all these stages are taken care of by ISO standards. And we address environmental concerns of customers and public and comply with government regulations. There are customer requirements regarding environment, then there are government requirements also regarding the environment. Government has introduced certain rules and policies, and these are taken care of by properly implementing ISO 14000 standards, and this is the benefit we get out of implementing these standards. Integrate with global economy. This is also a benefit which is achieved by these two standards. Sustainable business will be there if we have these two standards implemented. Unifying base for industry sectors. We have a uniform base for industry, and qualify suppliers for global supply chains, and with this we can qualify the suppliers or the vendors who will be providing the products based on these ISO standards. Technical support for regulations is also a benefit out of these ISO standards. Transfer of goods practices to developing countries. If ISO standards are implemented in different organizations located in different countries, it becomes easier for transfer of products. Tools for new economic players, and this ISO standards provide tools for players of economy all over the world. Regional integration is also possible through these ISO standards, and facilitate rise of services is also possible through implementation of these ISO standards. Now, we have discussed regarding these ISO standards 14001 and 9001. What are the benefits? What is the use of these standards? I will repeat, these standards are not for certification, and these standards only give the guidelines which should be implemented in the organization, and there are other approving companies which audit the organization to provide these certificates to the organizations. ISO is only for giving the guidelines. Now, we will talk about the quality award framework. Countries are encouraging organizations and the individuals to work for quality, and now we have certain awards which are organized based on the quality efforts of the individual organizations and the individuals. Some of the quality awards we will be discussing in my subsequent slides. Some of the popular awards and their assessment criteria we shall be discussing now. First, we are discussing is the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award, and this is in short called MBNQA. MBNQA is the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award. This was established in 1987 by the US Congress to raise the awareness about quality management and to recognize US companies that have successfully implemented quality management system. What is the criteria for this MBNQA award? The detailed criteria are described by the MBNQA guidelines for world class total quality management. Malcolm Baldrige Award criteria for performance excellence and 2002. Organizations are evaluated along 7 dimensions known as the Baldrige criteria. What are these 7 dimensions? First one is leadership, strategic planning, customer and market focus, measurement, analysis and knowledge management, human resource focus, process management, business results. All these 7 dimensions are evaluated for awarding this award to the different organizations, and organizations are compared based on these 7 dimensions. Next one is the European Quality Award, EQA. This award rates a company on improved performance in customer satisfaction, business performance and impact on society. When we talk about impact on society, ISO 14001 also comes into picture. It is composed of 8 specific categories of criteria. The EQA criteria are very similar to MBNQA criteria except for the point system used for each category. The European model for quality shows that leadership, people management, policy and strategy, resources and processes are its enablers. Enablers means which improve the quality. And the other half of the assessment areas are people satisfaction, customer satisfaction, impact on society and business results as outcomes of the enablers. Now, we have third one, Deming Prize. This is the forerunner of the National Quality Award fashion and was established by the Japanese Union of Scientists and Engineers. The award uses the following criteria to assess organizations' understanding and zeal of top management. Here he is talking about the top management involvement also for quality. Nothing is possible without the help of top management. So, what are the efforts carried out by the top management is also a criteria for this particular Deming Award. Of quality improvement process and future policy, plan and measure of performance. Here we discuss the performance also, and we have measurement techniques by which we assess the performance level. The European Foundation for Quality Management EFQM Award. This is also an award based on the quality management system implemented in the organization. This award was launched in 1991 and the first award was given out in 1992. The company is selected on the basis of business excellence. The award model is structured on the following 9 criteria. There are 9 criteria based on which this particular award is given. Companies use to assess and measure their performance. These 9 criteria are leadership, people management, policy and strategy, resources, processes, people satisfaction, customer satisfaction, impact on society and business results. These 9 criteria are basically for large organizations where the operations are maybe all over the country, all over the world, and the company has more than one unit. And the model is EFQM model is shown in this particular slide. Here we have written, we are talking about 3 particular things. One is enablers, which enable the improvement in the quality of the product or quality of the services or quality of people or quality of environment. And then we obtain the results based on these enablers. And then at the bottom we have written innovation and learning. We will again talk about enablers. Enablers are leadership, people, policy and strategy, partnerships and resources. And then we have processes, and with the result we get people satisfaction, means people results, customer results and society results. Society results mean impact on society of the operations of the organization, and then we have key performance results, and this is EFQM excellence model. Every organization strives for excellence in performance, and this is a model for that particular thing. In India also we have quality awards, and these are the Golden Peacock National Quality Award, and this is given in India. This award was launched by the Institute of Directors to encourage total quality improvement in both Indian manufacturing as well as Indian service organizations, including public and private undertakings, trade and professional associations, educational institutes, service industry and research establishments. This GPNQA, Golden Peacock National Quality Award, India, and the following enablers were defined. Organizational leadership. Enablers are the items which improve the quality. The first one is organizational leadership. The second is strategic planning. Third is human resource management, information management, and finally, process management. These 5 are the enablers for quality. The results obtained are employee satisfaction, customer satisfaction, impact on society, and business results. The second prize which is given in India is the Rajiv Gandhi National Quality Award. This award was instituted in 1991 by Bureau of Indian Standards with a view to encourage Indian manufacturing and service organizations to strive for excellence and give special recognition to those who are considered to be leaders of the quality movement in India. Those organizations who are working for the quality improvement in the country are assessed for this particular quality award, and then finally, this quality award is given. The name is the Rajiv Gandhi National Quality Award. This award is intended to generate interest and involvement of the Indian industry in quality programs, drive Indian products and services to higher levels of quality, so that these products can be exported to other countries in the world. And these industries should be able to meet the challenges of domestic as well as international markets. The Rajiv Gandhi National Quality Award is an annual feature and based on the financial year. Annually, organizations are selected for this award. And what is the assessment criteria for this Rajiv Gandhi Award? We have listed it. There are 5 things which are assessed. 5 parameters are there which are assessed. 5 plus 4, total 9 parameters are there which are assessed for quality award. One is leadership, policies, objectives and strategies, human resource management, processes. 6th one is customer focused results, employee satisfaction, impact on environment and society, and finally, business result. All these 9 parameters are assessed, and then quality award is given to the organization which stands first. The assessment of small scale organizations is based on 6 parameters. Small scale organizations, we have only 6 parameters instead of 9 parameters, and these parameters are leadership, human resource management, processes, customer focused results, impact on environment and society, and business results. So, we have discussed regarding quality management. Now, we will devote some time to know what is Six Sigma, what exactly is meant by Six Sigma. Though we know that this philosophy is for improving the quality of the product and quality of the service. 6 what? What is a sigma? Sigma is nothing but a statistical measure of the performance of a process or a product. There is a scale on which we study the process and assign some value, 1 sigma, 2 sigma, 3 sigma, 4 sigma, like this. We go up to 6 sigma, and now people are running the processes to achieve even say 7 sigma also. And this is a goal that reaches near perfection for performance. If we have achieved 6 sigma, our process is equal to perfect process without any defect, rather we can say 0 defect process if it is running at 6 sigma level. And this is also a system of management to achieve lasting business leadership and world class performance. Once again we will repeat, sigma is a measuring scale. This scale measures the performance of the process. If it is 6 sigma, it is nearly having 0 defects. It has 1 sigma level, 2 sigma level, and it goes up to 6 sigma level also. 6 sigma as a statistical measure. the lowercase Greek letter sigma stands for standard deviation, as we know through statistics that lowercase letter sigma represents standard deviation, which is a measure of dispersion of data. If sigma is more, data is dispersed widely. There is a wide range. If sigma level of the data is less, then data dispersion is very less. Standard deviation is a statistical way to describe how much variation exists in a set of data, group of items, or a process. Example, we will explain this with an example. If you weigh potato chips of many different sizes, you will get a higher standard deviation than if you weigh potato chips of all the same sizes. There are two sets of potato chips. One set has large variation in the size of the chips available. In this particular set, we will have standard deviation very large. Other set, we have potato chips of nearly the same size. There we have very low standard deviation, because the variation of size in the second lot is less as compared to the variation of the size in the first lot of chips. Another example we can discuss. Suppose somebody runs a business that delivers pizzas to the nearby offices, and you make pretty good pizzas. According to your contract with your customers, pizzas will be delivered fresh and hot between say 12:30 and 13 hours. Within this half an hour slot, the company which you are operating is to provide the pizzas, and this half an hour slot is fixed for lunch also in the offices. This allows customer to get their orders in time for lunch, which is their requirement. The customer requirement is that pizzas be delivered in a half an hour time, which is 12:30 to 1. And you have also agreed that if pizzas are served between 12:30, if the pizzas are served before 12:30 or after 12:30, which is a defect, you will discount their next order by 50%. In this particular statement, we are explaining that if the pizza is delivered before 12:30 or after 13 hours, this is a defect in the process, because the customer requirement is it should be delivered within half an hour time. Now, you and your staff people get a bonus for one-time delivery. For on-time delivery, you all are motivated to deliver pizzas during that half an hour time, and the customer is satisfied. Now, Six Sigma again we are discussing as a measure. If you deliver only 68% of your pizzas on time, your process is only 1 sigma. Out of 100, if we are able to provide 68% only in this half an hour slot, which is 12:30 to 1, our process is running only at 1 sigma level. If you deliver only 93% of your pizzas on time, your process is only at 2 sigma level. Just see, we have jumped from 68% to 93%, and our scale of process performance has changed only from 1 sigma to 2 sigma level. Now, if you deliver only 99.4% of your pizzas on time, your process is only 3 sigma. 3 sigma means 99.4% of the time we are delivering pizzas on time, and this 0.6% is a defect. 0.6% of the deliveries we have not provided on time, and though we are running the process at 3 sigma level. This is the meaning of 1 sigma, 2 sigma and 3 sigma. Now, we will discuss what is 6 sigma then. To be a 6 sigma pizza shop, you would have to have on time pizza delivery 99.997% of the time. the defect is only 0.0003%, which is hardly anything. That is practically perfect process. If some process is running at 6 sigma level, then we can say that this is running at perfect, absolute correct level. In fact, every million pizzas you deliver, you end up with only 3 or 4 late deliveries. Now, we are explaining the meaning of 6 sigma, where we have already mentioned that 6 sigma means 99.997% of the time we will deliver the pizzas on time. What does it mean? If we count 1 million deliveries, out of these 1 million deliveries, we may find only 3 to 4 deliveries which were not on time. And we can also safely say that the process with 6 sigma is a perfect process. This is possible only when customers' requirements are 30-minute window and you run your process with only 15-minute window. This is very important to note. If the customer requirement is 12:30 to 1, means half an hour window, half an hour slot in which we have to provide the pizzas. If our process is running with only 15 minutes slot, that we are maintaining the process in such a way that we are able to provide the pizzas in 15-minute slot, which is part of the 30-minute slot of the customer, then we can say that our process is running at 6 sigma level. Then you can say that you are running your process at 6 sigma level. This is the meaning of 6 sigma level. Customer has provided a certain requirement and we have chosen some process to meet the customer requirement. If the customer specifications are compared with the process specifications are just half of the customer specifications, then we can safely say that our process is running at 6 sigma level. Sigma scale. Now, we will discuss regarding the sigma scale. The first step in calculating sigma is to grasp what your customers expect. What is the customer requirement? And for that, we will have some process also. That customer requirement and the process being used for fulfilling the customer requirement will be measured at sigma scale. In the language of 6 sigma, customers' requirements and expectations are called CTQs. CTQ means critical to quality. Critical to quality item to the customer is taken care of precisely, and a precise process is selected to satisfy the customer. Customers can have one or more than one CTQ. A customer can have one or more than one critical to quality parameters, and with that organizations will have to have the processes for fulfilling the requirements of the customer. Now, we will discuss the levels of sigma performance. Just to give you an idea, we have discussed, we have 2 columns made, sigma level on one column and on the second column DPMO, defects per million opportunities, and the abbreviated form is DPMO. If we are running the process at 6 sigma level, there are only 3.4 defects per million opportunities. If the process is running at 5 sigma level, then 233 defects per million opportunities are there. If we are running the process at 4 sigma level, this figure goes to 6,210 defects per million opportunities. Similarly, at 3 sigma level, if the process is running at 3 sigma level, these defects are counted to 66,807 defects per million opportunities. If we are running the process at 2 sigma level, then it is 3,08,537 defects per million opportunities, and same figure rises up to 6,90,000 if we are running the process at 1 sigma level only. Now, this gives an idea of the defects present with respect to the sigma level. Say, we will repeat, at 6 sigma level it is only 3.4 defects per million opportunities, which is nothing, and we can safely say that the process is running perfectly all right without any defect. Now, we will discuss the ripple effects of low sigma performance. If an organization is running the process at a very low sigma level, what are its effects then? These are called ripple effects. Research suggests that when customers experience negative results of a product, processes or services, they do not sit as in the past, but they act. Customers will not sit as they used to sit after receiving the defective part. And following are the ripple effects of low sigma performance. What the customers will do? A dissatisfied customer will tell approximately 9 to 10 people about an unhappy experience regarding the product or the services which he has got from the manufacturer or the service provider. Even more people also he is going to approach, but the research tells us only 9 to 10 people will be approached by unhappy customer. The same customer will only tell 5 people if the problem is handled satisfactorily. The customer had a problem with the product or service. With the result, he approached 9 to 10 people and he narrated his experience to all those people. And if his problem is solved satisfactorily, he will tell only 5 people that the problem has been handled satisfactorily. When the problem was there, he was narrating it to 9-10 people, but when he is satisfied, he is telling it to only 5 of them. And the research also says that 31% of the customers who experience service problems never register complaints. 31 of the persons or the customers will never complain against the manufacturer or the service provider regarding the problem in the product or in their service. Because it is too much troublesome, there is no easy channel of communication, or because they believe that nobody will care for them. They think that communication is not possible with the manufacturer or the service provider if there is a problem with the product or service. They will never approach to the manufacturer. They feel that communication is difficult. Even if it is communicated, they feel that nobody is going to listen to their problem and their problem will remain as such, it will not be solved. Of the 31%, as few as 9% will do additional business with the company. Only 9% who are unsatisfied will do the business with the company. And this is based on the research. Why we have discussed this ripple effect? That defects are a nuisance. Defects should not be there in the product or in the service. If the defects are there, they are spread like anything. All the customers, all the people who are attached with the product or the service will come to know regarding the problem being faced by the customers. Now, we will discuss 6 themes of Six Sigma. Genuine focus on the customer, and this is the basic theme of the manufacturer or the service provider who has implemented Six Sigma process. Data and fact driven management. Management take actions based on only data and facts, nothing else. Processes are where the action is. Actions are taken only on the processes, nowhere else. Proactive management. Before the problem occurs, management should be able to take action. And then boundaryless collaboration. There should not be any boundary as far as collaboration is concerned. And drive for perfection, tolerate failure. Also, you work for perfection. While doing something for achieving perfection, if you face failure, and tolerate it. Don't feel that efforts should not be carried out because we are getting failures and failures. Failures are learning lessons for the companies, for the organizations. If they have tried something and they have failed, it means that that particular method of doing process is not good enough for satisfying the customer. They should keep on working and they should keep on improving the product and services. Now, we will discuss the process. What is the process for the manufacturer, for the service provider? We have a process inputs, we have process outputs. When inputs are given and a process is used, we have outputs, and then feedback is given back by the customer that the product or the service is good or it needs any improvement. We will discuss this process, and this is inputs. And transformation. Inputs means raw material and transformation process. And we get outputs, inputs, transformation, outputs, and this output goes to the customers. And customers give feedback, and when we receive goods, services, customers give feedback and the transformation process is modified accordingly based on the customer's feedback. Now, we will discuss some tools which are used for maintaining quality, and these are cause and effect diagram, check sheet, control charts, graphs, histograms, Pareto diagram, scatter diagram. And tomorrow we are going to discuss regarding these tools in detail, so that one should know what should be done to improve the quality. If the process is like this, what particular tool should be used to improve the quality of the process.